ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरू श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण। You can still see my screen? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So today we'll start our class with the revision. Rupam Prabhuji is doing mantra 4 and Akhand Dasa Prabhu is doing mantra 5. So we'll give it to Rupam Prabhu. If you want to share your screen, Prabhuji, I can switch off.
Yeah, bro. I'll share my screen.
Sure.
Can you see my screen, bro?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So I'll start with the translation. So Mantra 4 translation says, although fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and all can overcome all others running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him, although in one place he controls those who supply the air and rain. He surpasses all in excellence. So this is one of those verses, bro, where Prabhupada describes four inconceivable qualities of the Lord. 1 second. Yeah. So, as we discussed last week, we are in that section where which is focused on the vision of Mahabhagavat. This verse and the next verse, particularly, will explain the different inconceivable potencies of the Lord. And from 6 till 8, that will cover the vision of Mahabhagavat. So, as the shloka says, Anejat ekam manaso jevyo. Anejat means to stay fixed, and ekam means at one place. So, as it says that even though the Lord is fixed at one place, he can go in different places in a very swiftly, at a speed faster than that of mind, which is sort of self-contradicting. But that's where Krishna's qualities come in. That most of the things we'll see the next three as well. One is one is saying one thing and the other says completely opposite, but in a very greatest magnitude. So first line talks about although he is fixed, but he can also move. He can move anywhere and at a speed way faster than our imagination. One of the examples, a couple of examples in Bhagavatam, as we have heard so far, is of Gajendra Moksha and Draupadi's pastime. In both occasions, when the devotees prayed and Krishna came, he even didn't bothered to wait for Garuda to get assembled, and he started by his own. So, and we know Garuda travels faster than the speed of mind. So that's one of the examples where Krishna has demonstrated that he can even travel faster than the fastest in the entire creation. So that's the first one. Second, as the second line talks about Nainad Deva Apnuvan Purvam Arshad. So Nainad Deva is no Devta can approach him directly. So again, we discussed about Rusha Shuktam prayers where Devtas approached Brahma, and Brahma and Devtas combined approached Vishnu or Krishna. But even then, the Krishna actually sent the message at the heart of Brahma, not directly giving him the appearance. So that's an example that no devtas can approach him directly. Then tad dhavato. Dhavato means to run, and tad dhavato nainan atieti tishtat. So again, it sort of goes with the first one. Is he can run faster and faster than anyone. Tasmin apo matrishiva dadhati. So which is apo means water, and matrishiva means the god who controls wind and rain. So he Krishna not only supplies, or ultimately he supplies water, rain, wind, and everything, but he is the controller of these different demigods. Let's look at the paragraphs. So, in the purport, as we discussed para by para, the first para talks about the Lord is beyond material calculations and mental speculation. He can only be known by his he can only by devotional service by his devotees. So, so we discussed about even the greatest philosophers in Kali Yuga. We have seen they couldn't describe the Lord, or they couldn't achieve Lord, because that mental speculation without any foundation of Vedic knowledge, or the knowledge coming from Guru Parampara, disciplic succession, wasn't there, and it was purely on materialistic awareness and everything that they see around. So Prabhupada is rejecting that concept of just going through mental speculation. You can know about Krishna. It can only be known by his devotees, and the second important element is through his mercy, through Krishna's mercy. So even though as science is progressing, and science and we have seen in physics and others, we have theoretical concepts of traveling through space, traveling through time, and all those things do exist. But this is something our Shastras has spoken about thousands and thousands of years ago. We discussed about the moon landing and the moon mission, and again, getting into the technical side of things. Moon comes with different dimensions, and the way this is to understand is, and this understanding goes to different layers of planetary system as well. So all the heavenly objects that exist, they exist in multiple dimensions. So it's not just vertical and horizontal, or x or y axis. It is across other dimensions, which is not known to us, or we can't see it through our naked eyes. And that's why when moon landing happened, and this is I've heard in one of the lectures, one of the devotees ran and said, Prabhupada, man has landed on moon. And Prabhupada, I think he was having prasad or something, and he very casually rejected that. Nahi ho sakta, it's not possible. And another devotee was, Prabhupada, it's on newspaper. See, entire world is talking about this. Prabhupada said, no, it's not possible. We can't. Humans can't land on moon. We don't have that capability. Neither we have the ingredients or the metallurgy existing in Earth that can create any yantra or any plane that can take us to moon. So again, be it moon or any other planetary system, it's not possible unless we go through devotional path. So one thing we also learned that going to moon, or going to Vaikuntha, or going to all those planets, it can happen straight away, or it will never happen, which means Um, if one is devotee and he practices devotional services and everything, then that person can approach God or can approach Vaikuntha or any other planetary system straight away after he leaves body. One of the examples we have seen again from Bhagavatam is Gokarn and Dhundukari pastime, where Dhundukari, after going through the entire Bhagavad Sapta arranged by his own brother, he straight away went to Vaikuntha planets or back to Godhead. Um, but the same thing can't be possible with our materialistic approach or um, all the science theories that have been proven so far. So, um, with then Prabhupada says Anaja Ekam, which is Aneja Ekam, where as I was saying, is Lord is fixed at one place, but we also know, although he is fixed in one place, which is Golok Vrindavan, Krishna also exists in every atom and between the atoms. And as required or whenever required, he can travel to anywhere in this whole cosmic manifestation within no time. So in Brahma Samhita 5.37, it says, Goloka eva nivasati, which is God stays, nivas, karte hain in Goloka. But at the same time, he is in every atoms and between every atoms through energies, through different energies. Krishna controls this Jagat. So in essence, paragraph 1 talks about how or what limitations of material calculations and achieving Krishna through material means is not possible. It has to be through devotional service. Let's move on to the next para, which is talks about different energies of the Lord. So we discussed that there are three energies of the Lord, and this is purely from Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, the internal energy, marginal energy, and external energy. In Sanskrit, Antaranga Shakti, Tatastha, and Bahiranga Shakti. Um, so that's three ways of categorizing Krishna's energies, but we know Krishna has unlimited energy, and different sampradayas discuss this in different ways. For example, Ramanujacharya Sampradaya talks about 64 categories of differentiating these energies. Rupa Goswami talks about 64. Sorry, Ramanujacharya talks about 16, and Rupa Goswami talks about 64 categories. But in essence, Krishna has unlimited energies, and it is just for us, for making it simplifying for us to understand how the energies of Krishna exist and what are they. Next paragraph talks about God and his energies are non-different, yet they are different. So this is a really interesting thing where we need to understand, similar to how sun and sun rays are, or fire, the relation between fire, heat, and fire and light is that all these are different energies of the single entity, and it needs to be understood in similar way. So when we see sun rays, we understand that there is sun. So sun and sun rays in that manner are different, but one leads to the other. So although they are different, but you cannot detach from them, detach one from the other one. Similar way, fire, with fire comes heat, and with fire also comes light. Both are different forms of energy, and both gives us um, the ability to understand that there is fire, but as far as they are different, but they are also attached to each other. So in this way, we can learn that how Krishna is same as his energy, but at the same time, he is different to it. The other important aspect of this is similar to how, in our sense, when we use our energy or when we lose our energy, we lose something. So it's a zero sum game. When you have something, you gain something, you become bigger or greater, and if you give something, if you lose something, you reduces, or you lose something. But the same logic doesn't apply um, in the devotional aspect, or when it comes to Krishna, because when Krishna or Vishnu inhales the universes, he doesn't get bigger, or when he exhales the universes, he doesn't. There's no change. His shape stays as is. So two things we need to understand from here is how Lord and his energies are same and different at the same time. And second aspect is Lord doesn't reduces in magnitude or doesn't become big when he inhales, exhales, and that concept can be replicated in other um avenues as well. In para 4, we discussed about personal feature of the Lord, and this is where Prabhupada is saying, talking about the demigods, is the fact that Lord is not cannot be approached by demigods, and we saw that example of Bhagavad Gita 10.2, where Krishna is saying that he is neither he can neither be approached by the hosts of demigods nor the great sages. Knows my origin or opulences, as in every aspect he is the source. So mostly the aspect of where um, the demigods and rishis, and they can't. You have to be a devotee of the Lord to understand him. Whereas 5 and 6 combined talk about the Lord, the fact that Lord cannot be known by mental speculation. He can only be known by when he reveals himself. Um, so this is where we discussed about Sachidananda concept, is as in we are all Sachidanand and Krishna is also Sachidanand, but that doesn't mean that we are same as Krishna. The same concept is of a drop of ocean versus an ocean. So a drop of ocean chemically is very similar to that of, or exactly same as that of an ocean, but it is different. In one of the lectures, I've also heard this in line, an example of this, that how we are similar to Lord, but at the same time we are different, is if we understand the concept that we all have TFN, we all have tax file numbers, and the prime minister of this country also possesses a tax file number. But we all have a driver's license. He also has a driver's license, but that doesn't mean that we are equal to him. There are aspects where we are similar to him, but we are not equal to him. Similarly, we are qualitatively equal to Krishna, but quantitatively we are nowhere near to Krishna. So same goes with the concept of the example of drop of an ocean. The ocean drop and ocean itself, qualitatively they are very similar, but quantitatively they are very, very different. And here in Purport, Prabhupada writes that Prabhupada is using the word part and parcel, which is again interesting to understand that he is not just using, he is not just restricting himself to part, he's using part and parcel, because we are, as far as we are eternal, being soul, at the same time, we cannot be separated from the source. So we cannot be separated from Krishna. That's why it's part and parcel and not just part. We have to understand this in entirety, that we are not only eternal, we are also non-detachable from Krishna. Further, Prabhupada talks about how understanding these concepts, it is important to understand Krishna through, um, not through mental speculation, but through the knowledge given by Shastras. So that's why Prabhupada says it's futile activity to establish the identity of the Lord by mental speculation. So, and we learn two more concepts on here. One is Avaroha and Aroha. So, which is at the start of the Isopanishad talks. It describes Aroha, meaning knowing something in an ascending order. So for example, we know something and then we build upon our concept on the basis of what we know. So for example, in when we were kids, we learned about numbers. On the basis of numbers, we learned numbering system. From numbering system, we used numbering system to learn a bit more complicated maths like algebra, geometry, and others. And then based on that, we learned even difficult concepts like trigonometry, and on the basis of that we learned differential calculus or any other calculus for that matter. So it's a step-by-step learning, where so that is Aroha, whereas Avroha is something which is sort of straight away downloaded to us. There's no step-by-step process. It's just given. And that is the Shabda Praman, which Arjuna also talks in Bhagavatam, sorry, in Bhagavad Gita, is he has heard about the everything that the excuses that he gives for not fighting through his seniors. So Anushrushuma is that's a Shabda Praman example is what Arjuna also gives. So there are two ways of learning these things. Um, One is Aroha and Avaroha, and then when then we next thing we learned about is the chapter 9, shlok number 12, which talks about Mogha Karmano, Mogha Jnana Vichetasa, which is Moha, 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 everywhere Moha. So in Kali Yuga, all of us are baffled. Moha means to become baffled. So we are baffled in our karma, we are baffled in our hope, and we are also baffled in our jnana. So it's all sort of agyanta, which causes us to believe that we can win over the god, we can replace the god, we can become god one day, so on and so forth. I was reading one other thing on this. There was a German philosopher named Nietzsche before, just before the World War II, and he came up with the concept that God has created all of us, and then God died. So we are all sort of left as is without any control. So there is no absolute truth. This world is full of suffering, and there is no absolute meaning of anyone's life. Um, so everyone comes with their own version of God. He did have a lot of followers back then who believed the concept that God has created the world and God has created everything, and then all of a sudden God has died. So we have to just take care of ourselves, and we'll live the life the way we prefer to live. So there's nothing to do with manusmriti or any jnana of that sort. It's do whatever you want. So, and that happens because we are under moha. And this further leads to the concept of Maya, where Prabhupada talks in the purport that Maya is something which is non-existent, and we come up with these sorts of concepts of God has died, there is no free will, there's this world is full of suffering. Actually, that part is correct with what we learn is this world is full of suffering. Other than that, everything was exactly opposite to what Shastra says. So this happens why? Because of moha, because one forgets what Prabhupada writes is one forgets his activities under the will of the Lord, and he considers, and that's when he gets himself under the clutches of Maya. So this is where we need to. This is why we need when we feel. Um, so this is why we feel that God should do just. Okay, this is one of the examples that you gave, Prabhu, is when we are under Maya, or if not Maya, not related to God fully, then we feel that um, God should do justice with everyone, but then God should be merciful to us. All our vikarmas should be wiped out. All our negative karmas should be somehow settled. But when it comes to implementing those karmas and the realm of getting punished or sukriti or anything, that should be applicable to others. Um, but that's not how life works, and that's not what Shastras prescribe. So that's why when we utilizes our energy and our understanding that everything is actually coming from Lord, everything is Lord's potency, then he can revive his own original consciousness, which gets lost because we interact or we are under the association with Maya. So that's paragraph 5 and 6. Last paragraph, which talks about all powers must be utilized for execution of the will of the Lord, is of the Lord. So this paragraph is very prescriptive. As there's something for us to learn here, and that is we are required to inculcate the perfect knowledge of the Lord, His features, His potencies, and how these potencies work if and how these potencies work when we are under his shelter, and how these potencies can help us or save us from a material disaster, uh, which can be, forgetting Krishna, or not receiving the knowledge. That's all in all. So, basically, this is all about Krishna's energies, and how these energies are sort of self-defeating. And then Prabhupada talks about in detail what those individual lines mean, and what are the key lessons for us to learn from these paragraphs. That's it, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. Very interesting
you.
explanation. Just one point for all the devotees, although we would love to hear, but because of the time constraint, please keep it to 10 minutes. Can be 11 or 9. So if you could do that, that would be wonderful. Akhandasa Prabhu, I'll give it to you. You want to share your screen?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. No, I
Hare
think I
Krishna.
have got some notes. I'll refer to my notes.
Sure,
Thank
Prabhu.
you. Okay, Mantra 5, basically, I'll just read the translation first and I'll go into the details. Mantra 5, translation: The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He is within everything, and yet he is outside of everything. Now, these are the few controversies which are listed here in this verse, which describe the achintya feature of the Lord. We'll just take the first sentence. The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. The way to understand this is he walks because he moves promptly to protect his devotees and protect dharma. So the examples we discussed were Gajendra and Draupadi. When both of them prayed earnestly, the Lord came quickly to rescue them. So that's what it means, like he walks. Now he never walks. We can understand that by the meaning is that he never actually strays away from dharma and morality. He always upholds those values. So in that term, he does not stray. He does not walk. So the second controversy which was listed was the Lord is far away, yet he is very near. Now, the way to understand far away is that he's situated in his spiritual abode, performing his pastimes, which is very, very far away. The spiritual sky is far away. We can't even calculate the distance. So in that way, he's far. And another way to understand he's far away is basically he cannot be approached by the people who are envious. So for them, he's aprapya, or he's not visible. He makes himself invisible to those. So he's far away for those people. Now, he is near, meaning we can also understand that he is close to everyone as Paramatma, situated in everyone's heart. Bhagavad Gita 15:15. Here he is very close, and hence he's also close to people who surrender to him, and he makes himself visible to them. The third controversy which was listed is the Lord is inside as well as outside. He's inside, meaning again he's in everyone's heart as a Paramatma or Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. He's inside the entire cosmic creation by pervading it, and he's present even in the tiniest atom. He's also simultaneously outside everything. He's outside in his in the form of his various Vishnu forms, and he's present externally as a material energy. Now, these controversies are a bit hard to understand. Definitely, when we say we walk, either we walk or we don't walk. We are either close to something or we are away from something, or either we are inside a particular thing or we are outside. So we can't claim that we can be simultaneously at we can have both the things can be satisfied. So these are the some achintya features, so which implies that the absolute truth is omnipotent. So there is no limit into terms what he can and he cannot do. It's beyond human logic or reasoning. I think we use the term translogic to describe this. It's beyond material senses and mental speculation. Hence, we need to understand these controversies, which make sense when we look at them from the Shastrik Shastrik Jnana Chakshu. Also, these qualities actually prove that the supreme absolute truth is a person, because these attributes only a person can have, not a impersonal form. So this is also established here. Some other important points. The Lord is only seen by the surrendered souls. So Lord Krishna treat his devotees depending on the degree of the surrender they have, um, and he reserves the right not to reveal himself to those who are envious. So he's also Virat and Antayami. So as Lord Govinda, he enters the universe as well as all the atoms by his plenary potency. He's outside everything in his Virat form, and he is also within everything as Antaryami. As Antaryami, he witnesses everything and awards the results of actions. He's both personal as well as impersonal. We cannot see God with our eyes. That doesn't mean that he has no personal existence. And the Lord is never formless. His impersonal aspect or Brahman effulgence is but the glow of his personal form, just as the sun rays are the glow of sun god. Another quality is Saguna and Nirguna. The Lord is Saguna with qualities and Nirguna without material qualities. So when the Lord appears with perceivable qualities, Saguna, he need not take a material form and be subject to the laws of gunas. The material energy works under his direction, so he can use it the way he wants it without being influenced by any of its qualities. Thus, he is beyond the modes. He is nirguna. Some other important points which are noted. So incarnations, non-believers and fools neglect the Lord when he descends, consider him as a ordinary mortal human being with material body, and see him like an ordinary person. Bhagavad Gita 9.11. He is source and a controller of all energies. For the Lord, there is no difference between the material and spiritual energies, because he is the source of both, and thus he can convert one into the other as per his will. Even if the Lord appears in the form of material energy, he can convert it into spiritual energy. For example, the Lord appears in form of Archa Vigraha, the deity, which is made up of stone, earth, or wood, but he actually reincarnates into the deity. Deity form, we cannot see the Lord due to our imperfect material vision, so he appears as a deity to become approachable for us and accept our service. The deity is not just a mere idol fashioned according to somebody's whims. The form is eternally existent with all the paraphernalia. This can be actually felt by a sincere person, a sincere devotee, but not the atheist.
Mm.
So the last 2 points are this oneness. There is nothing but God in and out. Everything is manifestation of his energies, like heat and light emanating from a fire. And thus there is oneness among his diverse energies. Now the difference, although there is oneness, the Lord in his personal form still enjoys unlimitedly all the pleasures enjoyed minutely by the tiny part and parcel of living entities. Prabhu, that's all I have at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. Nicely summarized. Okay, so let's start today's discussion. So this is MIC guide. So we are in the second section. You can say the vision of Mahabharata, which comprises of 5 shlokas. Sakhi Radhika Mataji, have a quick question.
Prabhu, just wanted to ask you from the shloka 4, if we just go to the just the translation of the shloka, I was wondering with the example of Prithu and uh, Indra.
Parikshit. Okay, Prithanindra.
So, Prabhu, where will this part come that the powerful demigods cannot approach him? Is it Indra was able to, even though he was envious and he was insecure, but Krishna supported him, and Prithu Maharaj was told that you don't live the last yagya. Is it because Indra also had some bhakti, that is why he was able to approach the Lord? How to
Yeah.
understand that aspect with this?
Yeah. So when we say no demigods can approach him, it doesn't mean they cannot approach him at all. They cannot approach him directly, as Rupa Prabhu was also mentioning. We cannot just walk into his room and say, here I am. So, but they can definitely approach in the sense, you read in Bhagavatam as well, demigods come together and then pray. Ramayana as well, same thing. They come and pray, and then Krishna responds. So in 8th canto, we see Lord personally appears and asks for Samudra Manthan, personally appears. In Purush Sukta, as we were discussing earlier, Lord does not appear, and he just sends a message in the heart of Brahmaji. In the 4th canto, Prithu Maharaj and Indra story was in that one. Indra is doing some naughtiness, some childish things, and Lord personally comes because Lord is aware of everything. And Lord says, first Brahmaji says, don't worry about it. And then later Lord comes with Indra on Garuda. So it's like a naughty child. Now, given the bhakti aspect of the demigods, yes, they have bhakti. They are sakam bhaktas. They are mixed devotees. They are not pure devotees. And in our sampradaya, in Prabhupada's movement, we are sort of approaching pure bhakti, anya bilashta shunyam. But demigods actually does not have that pure bhakti, but they are bhaktas. And that's why Brahmaji says to Prithu Maharaj, don't kill Indra. If you remember, Janmeja organized a yajna to kill Indra when Takshak has bitten Parikshit Maharaj. Then also Lord comes and says, no, don't do it. Brahmaji comes and says, don't do it. Whatever Indra is doing, but actually he's chosen by Lord to be in a very responsible position. So Brahmaji there as well stop Janmeja or request Janmeja to not do what he was doing, kill Indra. Is that okay? So it's like within a family, some naughty children are there and some good children are there. So naughty children can also approach the father, but not directly, as good way as a good children can approach.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay, so we are in the second section of Isopanishad, mantra 4 to 8, the 5 mantras, vision of the Mahabhagavat. So mantra 4 and 5, as we discussed and revised today, describes the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. Now, to be able to see and understand the inconceivable potency of the Lord, before we can understand Lord, first we have to establish a relationship between us and the things around us, people around us, isn't it? Unless we have a good relationship with the things around us, we can't really approach what's beyond us. So Lord, we cannot see today with our naked eyes, at least we cannot see unless you're a Mahabhagavat. So how the person interacts with his environment, with the people around him and the things around him, that is being explained in mantra 6 and 7. And mantra 8 again will describe the beautiful qualities of the Lord, which will sort of establish that Lord has a personal feature. And we'll come back to mantra 4. We just do a comparison between 4 and 8. So let's look at 6 and 7. They are little similar, but they are different as well. And they give beautiful sort of analogy as well. What will happen if you have that vision? So reading mantra 6 here. Okay, who would like to read?
I can do it.
Sure.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can do it.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Yastu sarvani bhutani
Yastu sarvani bhutani
atmani evanupashyati
atmani eva nupashyati
sarva bhuteshu chatmanam
sarva bhuteshu chatmanam
tato na vijugupsyate.
tato na vijugupsate.
He who systematically sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything or any being. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. So first line here, Yastu sarvani bhutani, which is quite clear. That one, sarvani bhutani, who sees all the bhutas. Now there will be 2 Sanskrit lines and 3 translations by Srila Prabhupada. So let's see the first line. Atmani eva nu pashyati. So Atmani, now Atma can have multiple meanings. Atma can have my body, my soul, and as well as super soul or Krishna here. So here Prabhupada translates Atmani as in relation to the Supreme Lord. So we are taking this Atma word as in relation to Supreme Lord. Eva means certainly. Anupashyati. What does anu mean? This prefix has come many times in Bhagavad Gita as well as in Isopanishad. Mahavasu Prabhu is about to say something. Anu.
Pashyati
No,
is
Anu,
to-
not Pashyati.
Anu
Pashyati
is,
is
Anu is something makes it very
as a
divine and
prefix.
spiritual. Divine and spiritual.
Okay, spiritual. Okay, what else? Anu. There many people have a name called Anu, but probably
The
they
deeper
don't.
meaning, as a deeper
Deeper
meaning.
meaning, as per Shastra, as Prabhuji also said, the spiritual side, divine side. Anu means again and again. Looking at again, anu means anugatya bhav se dekhna. So we are looking from anugatya means as a subordinate bhav. So who is the our proprietor? Shastra is our proprietor. So we are looking through Shastra because we are subordinate to the Shastra. Huh? So anu means anugatya. Anu also means anusaran karna. Anusaran means to follow that. So what we see through Shastra, we follow it. We just not see. Now I see an object, I see a car or a house or some eatable things. Oh, this is so nice. I want to eat this thing. Huh? I love this, so I want to eat it. No, not like that. Anupashyati means seeing through Shastra. Oh, this is a matter. My senses may like it, but this is just a matter. Huh? So Anu has multiple meanings. So Atmani eva anupashyati. So what does this mean? Every living being is in relation to the Lord. So I'm just not looking at this is a male, female, this is a black person, white person, Indian, American, Australian, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not looking at that. What I'm looking at, this person or this being I'm looking at, Atmani, actually it's related to the Supreme Lord. This is how I see. Huh? Any Bhagavad Gita shloka you remember on this? Similar theme? Everyone knows that. Anyone? Manmohan Prabhu, you remember that shloka from Bhagavad Gita which sort of displays the same theme?
I don't remember the word, but Sama Sarveshu Bhutashu Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. I think it was-
Okay, more detail than that. So that's talking about equal vision. 518, now you remember?
Samadarshana.
Vidya Vinaye Sampanne Brahmane Gavihasane Shuni Chaiv Shapake Cha Panditaha Sam Darshana. So we're looking at all different beings again from point of view of Paramatma being sitting there. Okay. Second line, Sarva Bhuteshu, again, Sarva Bhutani, Sarva Bhuteshu, similar thing, but it's getting repeated for a reason. Cha Atmanam, again, Atma can have, Atma can also mean mind as well. Huh? But again, here, see, Prabhupada writes here, Atmanam refers to the super soul. So at both places, Prabhupada translates this Atma word as in relation to Supreme Person. So Sarva Bhuteshu Chatmanam. Now Prabhupada writes 2 lines of translation for this one. So first one was seeing everything in relation to Supreme Lord, and second he's saying one who sees all living entities as his parts and parcel. So Sarvabhuteshu Chatmanam. Sabhi bhut kiske hain? Unke hain. I can say Sarvabhuteshu Indian, Sarvabhuteshu Australian, whatever. So all the bhutas here are Australians, for example, or Indian, or males or females, whatever it may be. Second thing Prabhupada does beautiful. He says, and who sees Supreme Lord within everything. Sarvabhuteshu. What does Sarvabhutash have? Vidya Vinay Sampane Brahman. So Sarvabhuteshu have 2 things, soul and super soul. Because here the translation goes for super soul, so Prabhupada writing 2 things. So we are, the Bhutas are part and parcel of Krishna, of the Supreme, and Supreme Lord is within everything. So you see 3 points Prabhupada making here. One who sees everything in relation to the Supreme. It does not mean I don't see anything else except the Supreme. When Prahlad was asked by Hiranyakashipu, where is your Vishnu? Where is your Vishnu? What was the response of Prahlad Maharaj? He's everywhere. Is he in this pillar as well? And Prahlad thought, why my father is keep asking a silly question? Vishnu is everywhere. That means he's of course in the pillar as well. Was Prahlad seeing Vishnu everywhere, or pillar, or Vishnu, or pillar and Vishnu, or Vishnu inside pillar? What's the answer? Sorry if the question is confusing. What Prahlad was seeing? Pillar, Vishnu, or Vishnu inside pillar?
Vishnu.
Vishnu, no pillar?
Vishnu is in everything, so whether
no,
it is
so,
pillar or anything.
yeah, that's fine. But my question is, what Prahlad was seeing? Pillar, option A, option B, Vishnu, option 3, Vishnu within pillar.
I think it's
Vishnu
within the pillar.
I think Vishnu within the pillar, okay? So I think, okay, what else? So Satyabhama Mata said B, Vishnu. Then Hiranyakashipu also, he should have looked at Vishnu, right? Hiranyakashipu is also part and parcel of Vishnu. But he's saying, my dear father, isn't it? And Hiranyakashipu, when he points out to the pillar, Prahlad does not turn towards the mother or something else. He says, oh, this is also Vishnu, this is also Vishnu. He said, this is a pillar. So he was seeing pillar as pillar, definitely, right? So he was seeing pillar as pillar, Hiranyakashipu as Hiranyakashipu, but within the pillar, he could see Vishnu. Now, one simple example, Prabhupada gives a very beautiful example. When a mother has a small child, 2 or 3-year-old, whatever it is, when the child goes to the school, mother looks at the shoes of the child. What does shoes remind for the mother? What does reminder come? This is my child's shoes. When the mother looks at the toys of the child, my child's toy. So he's looking at the toys, not saying toy is a toy, shoes are shoes. He's not looking at shoes as the child, but shoes belongs to my child. So similarly, a devotee sees the whole world as the world. He sees a building, he sees a car, he sees a plate and a spoon and all those things. That's fine. But he sees, this is my Lord's plate. This is my Lord's children. This is my Lord's tree. This is my Lord's bhoga. Everything in relation to the Lord, and it's inseparable. Rupa Prabhu used a nice word, undetachable from the Lord. We are undetachable. We look separate, but actually we are undetached. Without Krishna, we cannot survive even for a second. Even for a second, we are undetachable. But due to Maya, it looks like we are independent. So these 3 points beautifully explains. Now Prabhupada starts the purport with a beautiful line here. This is the description of the Mahabhagavad, the great personality who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Personality of God, and the Supreme Lord presence is realized in 3 stages, the Kanistha, Madhyama, and Uttamadhikari. I'll just switch over to my document here, which is again, is Prabhupada purport only, but I have just highlighted a few things. It's easy for us to go through it. So there are 3 types of devotees Prabhupada describes here. Now, these 3 types of devotees has been described in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, when Navyogendras are having a discussion with Nimi Maharaj, also been described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So based on Shraddha or based on Ruchi, these categorizations are made. Now, if you go and read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will find a little different definition of these 3 aspects. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has also given definitions of these. and they may slightly look different. So why these definitions are looking different in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's explanations, Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam? Because they are based on different category on which they have been categorized. Now, I can say in one room, all of the people here are Indians. Maybe right? Now, another categorization, maybe there are some females, there are some males. Another categorization, maybe there are more than 50 age group, between 30 and 50 age group, and there's less than 30 age group, right? So depending on the categorization technique, there will be different categories. So here what we are discussing, what Prabhupada is discussing in this one, Srimad Bhagavatam categorization, which we'll look at it. So let's read Prabhupada purport very quickly. So Prabhupada in para 1 describing Kanishtadhikari, the first stage of realization. Anyone want to quickly read this, highlighted portion?
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Sure.
Right. So Kanishtadhikari.
Actually, Prabhu, you can read this whole line actually till this one. Yeah.
Sure. The Kanishtadhikari is in the lowest stage of realization. He goes to a place of worship, such as a temple, church, or mosque, according to his religious faith, and worships there according to scriptural injunctions. Devotees in this stage consider the Lord to be present at the place of worship and nowhere else.
So he comes out of temple or mosque or wherever, and then he does whatever he likes to do. I have gone to temple, I've gone to church, I've done the confession, and I heard Prabhupada saying somewhere, so Christians, they used to go to church and they will do some confession for their sins, and that's fine. Prabhupada said that's very nice, and God will forgive you. And then what has happened slowly, and Chaitanya Prabhu was saying in another class, he's saying, not only they confess it for their past sin, they also confess for the sins they are going to commit this week. So God, please forgive me for my last week's sins, and then please forgive me what I'm going to commit this week. And Chaitanya Prabhu was saying, this is a complete mockery of the mercy of Lord. Lord is very kind. The Father is very kind, but children should not approach Father, what I have done, please forgive me, and what I'm going to do. So basically, you are still what you are. There is no change in your personality. And that's not very respectful to the mercy of the Lord. Okay, next one. Prabhuji, you can read this whole. This is very beautiful, actually. They cannot?
They cannot ascertain who is in what position in devotional service, nor can they tell who has realized the Supreme Lord.
Just on this one, a neophyte devotee will not be able to distinguish between, say, a sannyasi and a new person visiting. He will have, his own set of conceptions, and he will treat everyone sort of equally, which he's not supposed to. Sometimes he may say disrespectful words to his elders or to highly elevated devotees, just looking at his bodily platform, for example. Now, what a Vaishnava does through his body, mind, and his speech, we cannot ascertain. Nityananda Prabhu was considered as avadhut. We cannot sort of logically comprehend all of his actions. Sometimes you will have like a mad person. He's not mad. He is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this person cannot see who is an advanced devotee, who is a new devotee. Lest such devotees
follow the routine formulas and sometimes quarrel among themselves, considering.
Yeah, so they quarrel among themselves. So someone gave an interesting definition of a neophyte devotee. Neophyte means new fight. They are new, so they fight. Now, does it mean everyone else is a neophyte except me? No, we are also neophyte. From that definition only, there are many characteristics which we have from that definition. When we fight, when we quarrel, when we have disagreement, we can't listen to each other. No, it doesn't mean we follow each other. We are not saying that. We cannot follow. The word is crazy. They will say anything. We cannot respect and follow, but at least we can hear. We can, give some attention, whatever is needed for that time being. It doesn't mean we have to follow. We cannot follow actually a person who's not a devotee, not telling the devotional aspect. Definitely we can't. But the point which is quarreling among themselves, and on what basis? Next line.
Considering one type of devotion better than another.
Especially the devotion I am following has to be best. It's me, because I'm the best. So my way has to be the best. And if you don't consider my way or my religion, I can chop off your head. There are some religions like that. So they think, actually that's neophyte. You can see that, because they have just no respect. In Sanatana Dharma, you see, again, we're not listening to everyone and everything, but we respect. Okay, if that's your faith, that's your faith. Prabhupada said, I'm not here to convert people. I'm just here to make people God conscious. And he's saying if you can become a good Christian, you can become a good Muslim, you can just become good God-loving person. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here for any conversions. And that was another reason for Prabhupada's great success, because he was not forcing anyone for anything. He was just inspiring people to uplift. Okay, last line.
The Kanishta are actually materialistic devotees who are simply trying to transcend the material boundary to reach the spiritual plane.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Now, this actually translation is being taken from, actually, I'll go here, 11 to 47, and you can refer to this verse. Acharyam eva hariye pujam ya shraddhayeta. So, Acharyam eva hariye. So, he has a spirit, and he is doing Shraddha Purvak seva of Hare, of deities actually. Natad bhakteshu cha annechu sa bhakta prakrat smrataha. That bhakta is a materialistic devotee. Materialistic devotee, his vision is still very materialistic. So 11 to 47, this is what Prabhupada is sort of quoting here. Now go to the Madhyamadikari, which is the second stage of realization. Now there are huge topics. I'm just running through as per this purport, but there are, lot of things which we can discuss in these paragraphs. Okay, Madhyamadikari. Someone wants to read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sure.
Just the highlighted ones?
Yes,
or
Mataji.
Yeah.
Yeah, just this one, Mata.
He adores the Lord, considering him the object of love. He makes friends with those who are in devotional service. He tries to awaken the dormant love of God in the hearts of the innocent, and he awards the atheists who deride the very name of the Lord.
So there are 4 qualities given of the Madhyamadikari. They're all here, and I'll just refer to the shloka because I like to refer to the shloka. It's very nice, we can comprehend. So this is the exact same shloka which Prabhupada has used without referring to the shloka number, because he had a different purpose when he was writing the Isopanishad purport. So SB 11 to 46, same. So you see 11, 45, 46, 47. So 47 talks about Prakrit Bhakta or the Kanishta Adhikari, 46 talks about Madhyam Adhikari, and 45 talks about Uttam Adhikari. So there are 4 things given in this verse. Ishware tat adhineshu balisheshu dusasicha prema maitri krapapeksha yah karoti sa madhyama. So what's the definition of Madhyam Adhikari as per Navayogendraj? Ishware is one category. So there are 4 people given and 4 actions given. What are the 4 people? Ishware means Ishwar, Supreme Personality. Tat adhineshu, that means devotees. Tad adhineshu means who accept the adhinata of Krishna. So tad adhineshu refers to the bhaktas or devotees. Balisheshu is innocent people. They don't know about Krishna. And Dushashi means dveshi, like Hiranyakashipu, for example, or Shishupal. So there are 4 people. What are the 4 actions individually? For Ishvara, what he does? Prema. So for Supreme, he presents his prema through his chanting, through reading, through different services. Tad adhineshu, for bhaktas, what does he do? Maitri. We have good friendship with devotees, and if we don't have, we should have. We should have a good friendship with devotees. We should have good friends. Balisheshu, to the innocent who don't know, he does krapa. Krapa means he preaches to them. He tells them, please come to the temple. Or he takes them some prasadam and say, Prabhuji, Mataji, please take this Janmashtami prasadam. Whatever. So Balisheshu, he does krapa. Krapa again in different ways. Dvishashu refers to Dveshi, one who are very envious of Krishna or to devotees or to Prabhupada or to Vaishnavas. What he does? Upeksha. Upeksha means he does not go to them. Why he does not go to them? Because of 2 reasons. If he goes to them and they blaspheme Krishna or his devotees more, they will become more offenders, right? So it will be more difficult for them to go forward in their spiritual journey. As well as I may also get upset or angry at this person because he's blaspheming my Lord. I may get upset because I'm a Madhyamadikari. I don't have, full control over everything. So I may get, or I may get inspired by their statements as well, isn't it? Because I'm on the borderline. So for all those good purposes, he does not does krapa. Now the krapa can only be done. Many times we say, when we go to with the materialistic society, don't take their association, give them association, right? Don't take their association because they may have different set of values. But what happens if you're a weak devotee? When you're going to give association, actually what comes back in our mind? Some material desires. Actually, his car was very nice. Actually, look at his house. Look at his dress or her dress. Look at the jewelry. Maybe, it's not wrong to buy some extra dresses. It's not wrong to have something else. We start having these material desires. That's why many times it's said it's better not to associate with them. So it's not stopping you because we are weak. If you are strong like Prabhupada, he could go anywhere and preach to anyone. Prince Prabhupada was taken to some sort of festival in America somewhere, and Prabhupada went because Prabhupada was going everywhere for preaching. When Prabhupada arrived there, all he saw undressed people or dressed in a very weird way, drinking alcohol and night parties going on. Prabhupada gave a little class, I think 10, 15 minutes. And then while he was coming out, and he said, this place is not good for brahmacharis. So Prabhupada could go and deal with all those people, but not everyone can deal with them. So Prabhupada sometimes stopped his followers to go to certain places because they cannot handle it. So that is called upeksha for all the good reasons. Okay, coming back. So this is the Madhyamadhikari. Uttamadhikari, who would like to read?
I can read.
Yes, Mataji.
Uttamadhikari, who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee does not discriminate between an atheist and a theist. He sees the Brahmana, a particle of the Supreme Lord, has not misused his little independence given him by the Lord, and that the dog particle has misused his independence and is therefore being punished by the laws of nature by being engaged in the form of a dog.
Okay, so we understand that
Uttamadhikari.
point. Yeah, we'll just stop here, Mataji. So we
Yes.
understand this point. So he sees both as a soul, as a dog or a Brahmana, but he sees this Brahman has utilized his independence properly. So he's got a Brahmanical body and he's serving Krishna nicely. A dog cannot serve, at least directly. He cannot serve. Same soul is just encaged, Prabhupada, encaged in the form of a dog. Same soul has got a different body by nature's arrangement because that soul has misused. So this is again a little warning for all of us and everyone. If we use our independence nicely, then what happens? Our future is very bright. But if we don't, Prabhupada says we should never fall into the animal species. At least be human. At least be human. And the last line, Mataji.
Uttamadhikari tries to do good to both.
Now, if you say in Madhyamadhikari, what he does to the Shassu, he sort of ignores them. But a Uttamadhikari can treat both of them. Like Prabhupada, when he went to the hippies, what he made these hippies, as they say, from hippies to happies. And again, not happy temporarily by LSD or drug or something, happily permanently. And they actually, many of them became gurus and they are leading tens and thousands of people now. So this was the Shakti of Prabhupada. Prabhupada could uplift any soul to that level, practically any soul to that level. But in terms of us, we just don't have that Shakti. Maybe Prabhupada can empower us. But at the moment we see, so there's a Madhyamadhikari, there is a Uttamadhikari. Uttamadhikari does not see anyone as not being a devotee. He sees everyone as devotee. And he's seeing everyone is a devotee. And how can I preach? Because everyone is already a devotee. Everyone is under the influence of Krishna's energy. Now, we say even a drunkard, a person who's taking drugs or doing all the other so-called nonsense things, is also following Krishna, but is following Krishna's Maya energy, not Antaranga energy. So he's also following Krishna's energy because even the alcohol and drugs comes from Krishna, isn't it? Everything comes from Krishna. All your wrong desires, they also come from Krishna. So everything comes from Krishna, but some desires takes us towards Krishna, some desire take us against Krishna. So this is what we have to understand and cultivate those desires which takes us towards Krishna and reject those desires which does not bring us closer to the Lord. Okay, now para 4, do not imitate or artificially see with this Uttamadhikaris, which are now, because Uttamadhikari gets, a lot of respect from others. So I may also imitate to be a Uttamadhikari. And the term which is used in Shastra for those people is called Sahajya. Sahajya means who immaturely tries to show that they are very mature devotees. They will, some of them, They will dress as like male will dress as female in sari. They will act like a peacock. They may make some weird sounds and all those things. Once I heard in a class, I think Gauranga Prabhu or Chaitanya Prabhu's class, he said one person in America, one Indian bodied person came in one of the American temples and he started crying and rolling on the ground. And all the devotees, all these foreign bodied devotees thought, oh, this is such a great devotee. He's having ecstatic symptoms and all that. The Prabhupada was in the temple itself. So devotees ran to Prabhupada and said, "He's a pure devotee has come in the temple. He's shedding tears of ecstasy. He's rolling on the ground." Prabhupada says, "Take a stick and go towards him to beat him." Don't beat him, but you take a stick and go towards him with the stick and see what happens. And as soon as the devotee did that, this person ran outside the temple. And he says, anyone can imitate. Anyone can imitate. Keshav Maharaj was saying in one of the classes, it was a quotation from someone else, which I forgot, but I remember Keshav Maharaj. So he said, I don't judge a person what he does in one day. I don't judge a person what he does in one day. I judge a person who does it every day, day after day, week after week, month after month, years after years. That's a devotee. Anyone can make a show of chanting 16 rounds, isn't it? Anyone can put this tilak. It's only like what, 20 cents, maybe 5 cents in Vrindavan. Anyone can wear a kurta and dhoti, have this kanthi mala. Amog Lila Prabhu says, in $10 you'll be a devotee. Devotion is not so cheap. Just by wearing a dress, a garb of a devotee, I become a devotee. So Keshav Maharaj was saying, anyone can chant 16 rounds. Anyone can jump up and down in the kirtan on Sunday feast evening. But what he does every day, that defines him a devotee or not a devotee. Many times a spiritual master comes and you'll see 50 disciples coming and buzzing around the spiritual master all the time. And once he leaves that city, you don't see them. 95% of them, you don't see them doing any seva, taking any interest in any project of his spiritual master's work or Prabhupada's work. That's not a sign of a pure devotion. A sign of a pure devotion, as told by His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, you're being conscious of Krishna in the absence of Krishna. Absence here does not mean Krishna cannot be absent at all. But when we don't see Krishna, then also are you Krishna conscious or you are whatever conscious? It says when you are alone, then your devotion is displayed. Your real quality is displayed when you are alone. Keshav Maharaj said we should take three videos, one in public, one in family, one in private. One in public, everyone, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna Mataji. You are such a great Vaishnava. In public, we are all greatest Vaishnavas, not even greatest Vaishnavas. In family, we are not so Vaishnava, sometimes Asura. And in private, as Radhanath Maharaj says, we have a good dog and a bad dog. The bad dogs take over us. So that is the standard of our devotion. And then we have to change that movement. It says your devotion will be judged in the moment of temptations. Are you able to control your urges? That's what will define, not what the public sees you as. That's only external, and you can't fool Krishna with that. Guru Maharaj says, when you go in front of Krishna, you are naked. Krishna can see everything. You can't fake. You can't fake anything. When you go in front of Gopinath, I can fake to the whole world. I can fake to the whole community. I can't fake to Gopinath. This is what I am, good or bad. So whom are we cheating? Many times if you try to cheat or impress, here we use the word impress, actually we are cheating ourselves only, and Krishna is laughing at us. So bottom line is we should try to change that internal of us, not just the external, which many times we forget, and we just work on externals a lot. I think Urmila Mataji was saying, if I'm not wrong, the time we spend of convincing others that we are devotee, if we spend the same time on being a devotee or trying to be a devotee, we'll become devotee. So don't try to impress anyone here. Don't try. There's nothing to impress. We are not so great at all. So don't try to impress others or convince others. Waste time in convincing others that, yes, I am a devotee. I need your certificate that I'm a devotee. Rather, you change your vision. And this is what Prabhupada is talking in this purport. And if we have that purpose in our mind very clearly every day, every moment, then the work will start in that direction. Otherwise, we'll die in changing externals only, which is not enough. Okay. Prabhupada writes here, learn the Shastra from an Uttamadhikari, not from a foolish person, because there are many people who pose as a great devotees or a great leaders of the society. But I was listening one, just a clip, that 10, 15 seconds clip. It came up, and this very famous world leader, he charges like $2,000 for a seminar for one seat. I'm talking one seat, around $2,000. He said, I have not read Gita or Veda or Shastra, and he's a big world leader in spirituality. I'm talking spirituality in quotes. So how can be a big world spiritual guru? He does a lot of meditation and all that. He says himself, he says in the clip, he's saying, I have not read any Gita or Bhagavad, I have just my own theories. So Prabhupada is writing, we should not learn the spiritual things from a foolish person. Yes, Madhuri Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mata.
Prabhu, in this mantra, we have one sentence, right? All the living entities as a part and parcel of the Supreme, right? So how should we conceive this? Because I got encountered with this question before, and I understand that we are talking about at a soul level. We are same as the super soul with respect to the quality, but not the quantity. Then how are we part and parcel of Krishna? See, once we leave this material body and reach Parampada, that is Goloka Vrindavan, we don't merge because that is
No,
not
yes.
our philosophy.
Yeah.
We go to Goloka Vrindavan and we serve Lord there.
So part and parcel doesn't have to be understood like you have to be attached to that particular. So here attachment is in terms of consciousness, obviously. And that's when you will only be eligible to go back to Godhead, when your consciousness is fully Krishnized, you can say, right? Unless your consciousness has some material things in it, you're still not qualified to enter into that spiritual realm. So from that perspective, you said, not in terms of like physically being attached to Krishna. So wherever like a mother is going, the child is going, a small child at least. So not like that from a physical perspective. So there's a famous word these days, unity in diversity, in modern language. But at the same time, in spiritual, obviously there's a unity and diversity, but there is a diversity within unity. So unity means you're in temple, you're serving the Lord, right? In a particular way. Maybe you're making garland or doing some other sevas like that. But another devotee doing another seva in the kitchen, for example, on an altar, someone is speaking for the Lord, someone doing arti for the Lord, but they're also serving the Lord. You're also serving the Lord. So there is a unity in purpose. At the same time, there's diversity. There's room for everyone. A person who cooks a wonderful feast, you cannot say, oh, unless you give a good class, I'll not consider you as a devotee. No, he's fully qualified devotee. He may be a better devotee, right? So here, consciousness is the topmost thing. And when your consciousness become one, and we'll talk about it in the next verse, Mataji, mantra 7,
Sure.
then it's considered you're fully Krishna conscious person.
Yes, Prabhu.
That's how we are part and parcel of Krishna.
Okay, from a consciousness perspective.
From a consciousness perspective. And even if you look in the bodily wise, Mataji, unless Krishna gives you all the facilities which are needed for your material body to survive, you cannot survive. Like all the oxygen given by Krishna, all the air, all the sun, light, some material necessities needed for your body is all provided by the Lord. And if Lord takes that away, forget about the spiritual side and material side, you can't. So part and parcel means you cannot live without Lord. You cannot live spiritually or materially. That makes sense?
Yes. Got it,
Our
Prabhu.
so-called independence is due to forgetfulness of the Lord. And I say, I don't need God. Why do I need God? I have everything. I have a job. I have a nice house. I have a nice dog. Why do I need God? Because I just don't understand where does my dog come from? Where does my house come from? Where does my body, how do I breathe in the air? Because I forgot. So that's why I say I'm independent, I'm fine. No,
in the very beginning, as you said, there is a speculation that God created and then he disappeared. He left us alone. Even that type of thing.
He died. That's what
he died.
He died. But I was thinking about it. Jiva Goswami has already said that 400, 500 years ago, we were reading deism, atheism, and theism. So he's already said deism already existed. They think, yes, God has created, because there is no way this material world can come from nowhere. They consider that, and that's logical. It has to be someone who's creating, friendship, any flowers. Huh? It just cannot come from a big bang. Such a beautiful flower with a beautiful fragrance cannot come on its own. So they consider that logic, that God has to be there. But right now, God is not there. Right now, God is not there. Why? Because there's so much going on in the world. So much. And there are explanations for that as well. Chaitanya Prabhu says, if there is a design, there has to be a designer. Huh? Design means designer is present. Okay.
I have another question, Prabhu.
Okay, quick one, Mata.
Yes, Prabhu. Quick one. I hope so. So in the Kanishta Adhikari, there is one line, right? That they will consider the temple, God is only present in temple and nowhere else. That
Yes.
I completely understand.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I also heard from our Guru Maharaj that, if we are living nearby to the temple, not only from our Guru Maharaj, even another Mataji also told that their Guru Maharaj also mentioned about this, that if we are close by or in the proximity of the temple or so, you don't need to have a home deities with you. You can just consider Radha Gopinath as your home deity as well. So how we have to think that way, Prabhu? Like,
yes, he's right, and he has to be right. I'm not just saying, but his concept is definitely right. Now, how do we understand that? It's very obvious. Now, in Shastra, it says there is a range from any Vishnu temple. Some says a kilometer, some says 1.5 kilometer. Anyway, whatever it is. There's a certain range where the temple vibration still goes so much that whole area becomes very pious, very sattvic. Now, how does it relate to our current context? We'll not discuss there because it's a big debatable topic. Anyway, so from that perspective, because the whole area, that 1 kilometer area, is a temple itself. So you don't need a separate deities. Why do we have separate deities? So that we can make our home as temple. But if you already live in temple, suppose brahmachari living in temple, they don't have separate deities upstairs in their room. Okay. I have Radha Gopinath and I have my Chota Madan Gopal. No, they don't need it, right? Because for them, everything is Gopinath. Prabhupada also mentioned, not only in this context, Mataji, even if you're living a little bit far, not only that 1 kilometer range, Gopinath deities should take priority over other deities, including our home deities. That's clearly been mentioned. Huh? So if we have, suppose, seva to our home deities, and I've seen devotees going home in Janmashtami at 7 p.m. say, oh, I have my home deities to serve. Actually, it's not needed. If you're following Prabhupada, it's not needed. If you are in Gopinath temple, you are serving Gopinath, not having Prajalpa in Gopinath temple. Actually, it's no need. My Guru Maharaj and others said, I come back home sometime 12 o'clock and have my deities at home. He said, no, that's fine. Deities understand. So I serve them at 12 a.m. in the night sometime, not all the time. Because I come late. So they're just waiting. So that's no problem, because Guru Maharaj is saying, you are serving Krishna in some other form somewhere else. Like I'm 50 kilometers away from my home. What can I do? I can't take deities every time with me. So that's one aspect of it. So Gopinath always takes priority, especially when you live close to the temple. The reason being, Gopinath is very pure. So if you are with Gopinath, you get so much that Prabhupada is saying, or Guru Maharaj is saying, you don't want to lose that. In saying, I run away and do my home deity seva. So second point, Janananda Maharaj mentioned that. I clearly asked this question in private, and he said, both deities, if you can serve, that's very nice. Huh? Home deities as well as, but priority should be given to temple deities. If we follow this principle, then we are making a very wonderful community, very, very wonderful community. That is our primary deity. And our home deity is the extension of Gopinath.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mata. Manmohan Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Maybe my understanding might be wrong, but I've also heard, as you said, there are a lot of other things about these three, level of devotees.
Yes.
So I've heard that Kanishta is his faith is fluctuating.
Yes.
One moment he's in Krishna consciousness, next moment he's not.
We'll read that, Prabhuji, in NOI and NOD. We'll read that aspect as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the question was once you reach Madhyama and Uttama, does your consciousness fluctuate at that level, or?
Okay. Yep. Very good question. So, if I can draw a table, Prabhuji, one from knowledge perspective, one from faith perspective. So I'm just drawing a imaginary table here. You can just consider in your mind. So a Kanishta Adhikari have practically no knowledge and no faith, practically speaking. Today he will be follower of your temple, for example. Tomorrow he'll be follower of your neighbor's temple, because that Babaji has shown some magic to it, right? So today he'll faith in you, tomorrow he'll faith in you. That's Kanishta. Practically no knowledge and no faith. Madhyama have some knowledge but full faith. Some knowledge means if he does a debate with another sampradaya, for example, he may not be able to defeat all the arguments what the other person raises. I know one family, I went to do a program outside ISKCON temple family. Anyway, this Prabhu was sharing one of his child, the only child, 19-year-old child. He was arguing with someone else from ISKCON's perspective. This person could not defeat the other party. And this young girl converted into another religion just because she could not face a debate. Like, wow. And his father and mother, they're Brahmins, by birth at least. Like, this girl could not handle just one debate. And that's fine. No one has so much knowledge, right? She left. She left this whole Hindu Brahminical culture and went into literally extreme religion on the other side. So I'm coming down to your question, Prabhuji. So he has some knowledge, not full knowledge, some knowledge, but has full faith. Now you cannot call this girl, having anywhere close to even Kanishta Adhikari. Anyway, I'm going to Uttama Adhikari. Uttama Adhikari has all the knowledge. When I say again, all the knowledge, only Krishna knows everything, all the knowledge which is needed. Like Prabhupada, no one could defeat Prabhupada in any philosophical question, any analogy or anything, right? No one could defeat. Now, people may not get convinced by Prabhupada. That's a different story. Huh? Many people could not get convinced, but Prabhupada had all the answers. Prabhupada had all the Shastric answers, all the analogies. Prabhupada was fully equipped by his Guru Maharaj. So Uttam Adhikari has full knowledge and full faith. Madhyama or Uttama's faith cannot be shaken. Rupa Goswami gives this example of Kanishta Adhikari faith is like a banana tree. You know banana tree? Even a child can uproot a tree, one by one, obviously, not in one go. But Uttam Adhikari's faith is like a banyan tree. A banyan tree, if you have seen in India, a big ones, even a big giant elephants cannot uproot. You will not even know where's the main root and where is the sub roots, because the roots goes upside down as well. The big ones, the very, very big ones. So yeah, so that's the categorization. Is that okay? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, we'll talk about this in NOI and NOD as well. Okay, so let's move forward. So seeing according to Shastra, I'll just quickly read. So anu means to follow, as we were discussed earlier. Pashyati means to observe. Thus the word anupashyati means one should not see the things as he does with the naked eye, but should follow the previous acharyas. We already discussed that. I'll just go to the last one. Liberated person's vision is beneficial. You have to have the liberated person's vision. That means, again, what we have just discussed, you should see everyone as a part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is inside him or her in that body. And the third part, Prabhupada says, you should see everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. Everything belongs to Supreme Lord, so it must be employed in Supreme service, not in my service. So that is verse 6. Let's go to verse 7. A little bit similar verse, but there are differences as well. Who will read? Prema Mataji, would you like to? The simple one.
Yasmin sarvani bhutani
Yasmin sarvani bhutani
atma vabhud vijanataha
atmaiva bhud vijanataha
tatra ko moha ka suka
tatra ko moha kaha shoka
ekatvam anupashyatam.
ekatvam anupashyataha.
One who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks in quality one with the Lord becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him?
Thank you, Mataji. I read in Hindi, to be honest. I put this Hindi verses here. I like this Devanagari because I'm used to it. Anyway, So one who always sees all living entities as spiritual as fast. Let's read this verse. Yasmin Sarvani Bhutani. Look at verse 6 here. Yastu Sarvani Bhutani. Isn't it almost similar lines here? Atme va bhut vijanataha. Atme va bhut, again, similar lines used in verse 6 as Atmani evanupashyati. So you can see the first two lines of verse 6 and 7 are similar. Now let's see the difference. In verse 6, it says, Tato na vijugupsate. Vijugupsate means he does not hate anyone because he sees, like, ideally speaking, if you love all the human beings, if you see another human being, will you hate him or her? He's another human being, ideally speaking. It doesn't happen. But because you love that person, you will like that person, you will never hate. Similarly, if you go here in verse 7, Tatra, if you are situated in that mindset, in that consciousness, Tatra, ko moha. Moha refers to, we don't have our Mohit Prabhu today. Moha refers to illusion. Rupam Prabhu, you're discussing the verse 9-12, Mogasha, Mogasha, Mogasha. It's Mogha, not Moha. At least I heard as moha, and I may be wrong. Moha refers to illusion. Mogha refers to useless, basically, useless. And there's a slight difference there. Okay. Tatra ko moha. So there is no illusion to that person because we are all illusioned. We are all conditioned at this stage. But if you have that mindset, which is discussed in verse 6 and 7, you will not be illusioned. Kaha shoka and lamentation. You'll not have either any illusion or any lamentation. And then ekatvam anupashyata. Anupashyata word is used here. Anupashyati word is used here. Again, similar thing, right? Ekatvam anupashyata. You'll see everything as one. Now, what this one is, because Mayavadis love this word ekatvam. And as soon as the ekatvam comes, they are like, yes, this is our verse. But it's just a misinterpretation which they do. Anyway, let's look at the verse here. So one who always sees all living entities as spiritual as sparks, in quality one with the Lord. So Prabhupada writes very clearly what does ekatva mean. In quality, Rupam Prabhu was also earlier discussing about this, qualitatively one, not quantitatively one. Becomes a true knower of the things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? Now, just read this without ekatvam anupashyata. If you don't have that vision, can we say we have moha and shoka? Can we all say? Now you're all devotees, you don't have, I can say about myself, I have a lot of moha, I have a lot of shoka, and a lot of other things as well, a lot of anarthas. Why does that happen? Because I don't have that vision that everyone belongs to Supreme Lord. Everything belongs to Supreme Lord. Everyone is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and Supreme Lord resides in everyone. Isn't it? Because if I see my dear Supreme Lord in everything, can I hate that thing? I have to love. Prabhupada said, if you love me, love my dog. I cannot say, I love you, but I hate your dog. I love you, but I hate your children. Prabhuji, you come to my place. Don't bring your children. They are very naughty. That may be the scenario, but you'll not like it. Don't bring your parents to my house. I hate them. And it's like, hang on, Prabhuji. Then I will not also come. So you cannot say like that. If you love God, you have to love his children, because God comes in 4 parts. To love God, that means you love God, you love Krishna, you love those who love him. Who love God? Devotees love God. So you love God, you love devotees of the Lord. And you also love who aspire to love him. Who aspire to love God? We are all. We are all aspiring to love God. We don't love God today. At least for myself, I don't love God. But I aspire one day in future, sometime, I may be able to, in a situation to be able to love God. So 3. And the 4th thing, you love God means you love those whom God loves. So what are the 4 characteristics of loving God? Yes, Prabhu? You can say any few.
First one, those who love God.
They love God.
Yeah.
Love God means love God.
Yes.
1. Number 2.
Number 2, those who are loved by God.
No. Number 2 is who love God.
Okay.
People who love God. That means pure devotees of Lord. 3rd.
Okay. 3rd is.
Someone else can say 3rd. Fatafat. Jaldi, jaldi.
Aspiring to love.
Love those who
Aspiring to love God. Who is aspiring to love God?
Like us, all of us.
Okay, Manmohan Prabhu is number 2. I am number 3. You already love God. Number 4.
Those who are
No, those who loves God loves.
Those whom God loves. And who does God love? Everyone, isn't it? Because everyone is the children of God. So when I say I love God, I have to love these 4 things. If I don't do that, do I really mean my statement? I'm loving God? It's incomplete love. Oh, I only love Krishna, but I hate other sampradayas, great saints or great teachers. You can't do that. Huh? Keshav Maharaj was saying, we cannot have a monopoly in loving God. That, okay, only Hare Krishnas love God. You can't say that. There are many saints in different religions of the world who have been a true lover of God. We can't have a monopoly. That's a neophyte vision. That's a neophyte vision. Oh, are you not in a scone? Hang on a second. Hang on a second. It's nice that you are following the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, but you cannot say, oh, that means, no love for God. Who are we to decide? So you understand loving God means? So we have to have this. Now, if I don't do that, that means I'm not being honest with my statement that I love God. Because that's a definition of loving God. So Anupashyata refers to that sort of love which we are talking here. Now let's go to the purport. Mahabhagavad sees oneness in energy and energetic. I'll just explain it quickly because Rupa Prabhu has already talked about it and we have discussed many times. So Prabhupada gave many examples of energy and energetic being the same. Can anyone give any example quickly? Energy and energetic being the same. Any examples which you have discussed?
The sun and the sunlight.
Sun and the sunlight. Anything else?
Of ocean.
Okay, Rupa Prabhu discussed about that ocean, the drop of the ocean and the ocean. That's nice. Now, Jiva Goswami gives another example as well. I'm referring to paragraph 2 here. Probably not in this explanation here, but I heard in the lecture. Okay, so we understand sun and the sunlight, they are same, but at the same time, they are different. Ocean drop and ocean is same, again, qualitatively. If you test some ocean drops, you'll know what's the constituents of this ocean. That's same. Now, Jiva Goswami gives another example, which is beautiful example. Now, if you consider Krishna is the sun, just consider the globe sun is Krishna. Now, globe sun has 3 things. One has the immediate aura around the sun. Can you go around the sun? You cannot go because the sun aura is just so hot. So you can say that aura is the internal energy of the Lord. You understand that? The Swarupa Shakti of the Lord, the internal potency of the Lord, as good as sun. If you go to very close to a fire, is as good as fire. The fire is not visible there, but it's as good. It's so hot. If you put a tawa on the fire and tawa becomes very hot, can you touch that tawa? You cannot touch the tawa because tawa is as hot as the fire. Although tawa is not fire, tawa is as hot as fire. The sun's aura. Now, sun radiates some rays. With the rays goes, say, to come to Prithvi, they take what, 8 minutes, 8 seconds, something like that. As per the speed of Supam Prabhu is saying something I can't hear. I don't have that sort of ears, but anyway.
8 minutes 30 seconds. 8
30
minutes
seconds.
32 seconds. Between 30 and 32 seconds.
30 and 30. Sorry, I was out by 24 seconds. Something like that. So sun rays. Now the sun rays goes to further planets as well in our universe, right? And the further it goes, the potency of the sun rays goes down and down and down. Is it right? Right? And at one point you'll see they practically feel no heat. And at one point there'll be no light as well. Because the further it goes. So the sun rays, as per Jiva Goswami, is considered as Tatastha Shakti, marginal potency. The farther we are from Krishna, the less Krishna conscious we are. Is that correct? If we live too away, it does not mean a physical distance. I'm looking at Glenfield devotees. They are better devotees. The devotees live in Chatswood. So it doesn't mean a physical distance. It means a mental distance. So devotee is far from Krishna. A person who's far from Krishna is less Krishna conscious. If you're close to Krishna, mentally again speaking, you're very good devotees. So they're like Tatastha Shakti. And that's why we see everyone is actually running on Krishna's energy, but some are close to Krishna, some are far from Krishna. So 2 Shakti. And the third Shakti, Jiva Goswami explains, is what's the third Shakti of Krishna? Bahiranga Shakti, external potency. And Jiva Goswami gives the example of reflection of sun. If you have a river or a bucket full of water, can you see the reflection of sun in that? Now, is this a sun? Yes, it's a sun. Is it the real sun? No, it's a reflection, right? You cannot feel any heat or light from that reflection, and that is Bahiranga Shakti. So Antaranga Shakti, the example of the sun's aura, the energy just close to the sun, that's Antaranga Shakti. The sun rays are considered as Tatastha Shakti. The far we go from Krishna, the less Krishna conscious we are, the more trouble we are in. And the sun's reflection is considered as Bahiranga Shakti. And that's why they say Maya Shakti is the reflection of Krishna's internal potency. And that's why when we're trying to enjoy the Maya Shakti of Krishna, we cannot really enjoy. Like if you eat the reflection of a mango, will you still feel fulfilled? I won't. Prabhu, you come to my house, I'll feed you mango. Thank you, Prabhu. I come to your house and you show me a reflection of the mango. And you say, Prabhu, you only take it. The reflection of mango does not fulfill anything. Neither my taste, nor my thirst, nor my hunger, anything. It has to be real mango, real sun to give me heat and light. So why I'm explaining all that? This proves the concept of this oneness here. So although there is oneness, and we speak about this qualitative oneness, but within oneness, you can see their diversities as well. So although we are one with the Lord, Satchidananda, soul-wise, we are Satchidanand. In the body, what we are? Asat, Achit, Nirananda. Asat means our body is Asat. It will die one day. Achit, it doesn't have much knowledge. You may think you're a second Brahaspati in this earth planet. You got a Padma Shri award and all that, but you are still Achit. And Nirananda. There is no Ananda in the body. There may be some temporary flickering pleasures, but there is no actual Ananda. So from soul's perspective, we are both Satchidananda. But as Brahmaji says, Ishvara Parama Krishna. We are also Ishwar. We say Aham Brahmasmi. Actually, we have no problem with saying Aham Brahmasmi. Do we have any problem? No. But we cannot say Aham Param Brahmasmi. Who says Param Brahma Param Dhamam Pavitram Paramam Bhavan? Who says that? Arjuna. 10.12 and 13. Arjuna says, you are Parabrahm. So Arjuna is also having no problem. We are also having no problem. So if someone says Aham Brahmasmi, all we are saying that Parabrahma is not only Brahma. Jiva Goswami gives another example of a teacher and a principal. So in a school, there are different teachers and there's a principal. Now, principal can also teach chemistry. It's possible, right? He also takes a chemistry period. That's fine. Other teacher also takes the chemistry period. But that teacher who takes the chemistry period is not similar as other teacher. He's principal. Rupam Prabhu gave a fantastic example. Our prime minister or president can also have a driving license. We can also have driving license. He's also having one head. I also have one head. Two eyes, two eyes. He has a family. He has mother, father. I also have mother, father. I walk on two legs. He's also. Arey yaar, same hi to hai. It's the same thing. You'll be considered very stupid if I propose that idea. Narendra Modi is Narendra Modi, and you are you. With all due respect. So it's a very different personality. So although Krishna also have personal feature which we think like us, actually we are his copy, not he's our copy, but he is Krishna. He is a supreme personality of Godhead. And the verse of Isopanishad which proves that is verse 4, where it said Devatas cannot even approach him. He's like so high. They cannot just go and say, come on, have a play with me. So this is the concept of oneness which Prabhupada is explaining. One more aspect actually. Quality I explained, interest. Now oneness in interest is also there. Suppose you are in a ISKCON, just take the simple example, and you are in Prabhupada's movement. So what was Prabhupada's vision? To preach Krishna consciousness to every single living entity. Jaake dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Whomever you meet, wherever you meet, you talk about Krishna. That little Bhagavad say, hi, hello, chodo, Hare Krishna bolo. Everyone knows that little Bhagavad. So no personal conversations or very minimal personal conversation. We talk about Krishna and we try to become Krishna conscious. And Prabhupada's vision was we should be able to preach to every single being of this society. Now, from that perspective, do you think the interest of a Hare Krishna devotee, a neophyte devotee, is exactly same as a Prabhupada's vision? Is it? It's the same? If you are in a same nation, say India or Australia, whatever, your national interest should be your interest. Is it right? Ideally speaking, your national interest. You should not be having a different interest than your nation, that you are not considered a very good person. Similarly, the God's vision or Prabhupada's vision or the pure devotees' mission should be our vision as well, should be our mission as well. And when we have that, can we say we are one? We're all Indians. On what basis that we want to develop our nation, for example? We're all ISKCON devotees. From what perspective? We want to develop ISKCON. We want to develop ourselves as well as help others in our humble way, whatever we can. So the interest is also one, quality is also one. From that perspective, we say we're all one, but not in quantity, as we have discussed earlier. Quantity of a salt present in a drop is never comparable to the quantity of salt present in the complete ocean. So there is one interest. We discussed about it. Keeping the Supreme Lord as a center brings enjoyment for all. We discussed about it. Anand Mayo Bhyasat. We are also Sachitanand. We are also seeking pleasure. Krishna is also Anand Mayo Bhyasat. We are also Anand Mayo Bhyasat. But we are seeking Ananda, this enjoying mentality. We are trying to fulfill this enjoying mentality in a wrong place. So seeking enjoyment is not wrong. Seeking enjoyment at the wrong place is wrong. And the example given is, if you are in, say, Myers and you're looking for milk, I'm here to buy milk. Don't you even have milk? Don't you even have aloo? And Myers people will say, Prabhuji, go down to Coles. We don't sell aloo and milk here. Now, if you go to the Coles and look for shoes, for example, you don't get shoes in Coles, at least not in my knowledge. So you have to go a particular shop. So seeking enjoyment is not wrong. Seeking enjoyment at the wrong place. Seeking water in mirage is wrong expectation. Seeking water is not wrong. But you are looking in a desert. That's like funny. This is what we are doing. Okay. Effects of rejecting oneness, shoka and moha. So if you don't have this oneness, again, oneness in interest and in quality, not in quantity, then what happens? Shoka and moha comes to us. As we discussed earlier, if we don't have that vision, I will definitely have some lamentation and some illusion. I will definitely have, because illusion will be, I'm the enjoyer, or my country is the enjoyer, my community is the enjoyer, my family is the enjoyer. Something should be, that's all illusion. And lamentation will be, I wish I had that. I wish I could do like that. I wish I have said like that. I wish I could have joined, that position or that position. This is all shoka and moha. A godless civilization arises from illusion, and the result of such civilization is lamentation. And that we see all around the world. But when countries are fighting, communities are fighting, why they are fighting for? I want to make your country as my country. So I attack your country and I take all the resources of your country and I merge into my country. So I feel enjoyed. I feel victorious. If we wish to get rid of all sorts of illusion and anxiety and create unity out of all the diverse interests, we must bring God into all our anxieties. Prabhupada said, for UNO, we cannot have brotherhood amongst different nations unless we have a same father. We cannot say you are my brother unless I have the same father. If I don't have a same father, then I'll say, oh, you are black, you are white, you are green, you are yellow. My father is great. Your father is not so great. So we cannot have a true brotherhood unless we have the same father. And same father means same God. So when we have the same father, then we can love each other. Become one interest with God. We already discussed about it. Yeah, this line is very nice. A father extends himself through his children and maintains them in order to derive pleasure. If the children obey the father's will, family affairs will run smoothly. We all understand that? If we all cooperate with our father, again, given the father is right. Here we're talking about Krishna. So he's supremely right, with one interest in a pleasing atmosphere. And there is no need to elaborate this line. When we don't cooperate, what happens, especially in Kali Yuga? Prabhupada says, it's the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. We fight all the time, all the time. So we know that, and that's why we call it Kali Yuga. Now, I think the last paragraph, which we'll read, one who sees one interest is very rare. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Neither the Lord nor living entities are impersonal. Such a Mahatma, great soul, is very, very rare. Okay, so I'll just go back to the shloka for a minute. This is just to read. So, Yasmin Sarvani Bhutani Atme va Bhut Vijanata. One who sees everything and everyone is being related with the Supreme, tatra ko moha kah shoka. He will not have any lamentation, or he will not have any illusion, as well as he will not hate anyone, because he is seeing everyone as one. One means qualitatively one, and interest having one. I also want to become God conscious. Another person in the temple also want to become God conscious. And in that activity, in that process, we are helping each other to become a better God conscious person. From that perspective, we're all one. Okay. I hope I could do little justice. They are big shlokas actually. Bit hard to do justice in like half an hour each shloka. Anyway, I think we got the gist of it. Any quick questions? Everyone is happy. As Prabhupada said, either you have understood everything or nothing. I consider it number two. That's fine. But Prabhupada is very kind. With Prabhupada mercy, you can be number one. Okay. Sundar Gopal Prabhu, any quick announcements?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, yes, the next week the class will not be on Wednesday. It will be on Thursday, and the class will be taken by His Grace Ghanshyam Govind Prabhuji.
So please come on time, and please, attend the whole session. That would be very nice. Now, before we go, we need to volunteer devotees to do the revision of verse 6 and 7. Who wants to do that? Who hasn't done it? If you have already done it, that's fine. Who haven't done it, they can come forward. Okay. If not, I'll choose two devotees then. Okay. So I consider you are giving me opportunity to pick. Okay, no worries. I'll write the message separately. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Isopanishad ki jai. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Hari. Hare Krishna. We'll see you
Hare
all
Krishna.
next
Hare Bol.
Thursday, 28th of March. Hare Krishna.